Hey, how you doing? Dave Fennoy here. Welcome to another Ask Dave Fennoy Anything. A happy Wednesday to you. Of course, it's every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, Facebook Live. Well, it's just you and I today, so get your questions ready. We're going to talk about a number of things. Demo production. I produce demos, but only for video games, and I generally keep that a fairly low number with all the other things I do. But I've decided that I have some time. I can do a bit more of it, so I am opening up my demo production business to new people who need demos done. And you can visit my website, davefennoy.com. And just click on there's a new button at the top. It says video game demo production. You can click on that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a bit. But I also wanted to let you know that I am going to be, let's just hit the button there. There you go. I'm going to be a guest next Thursday. That's August 5th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Sovis's The State of the Union. I'll be talking with Joan Baker and Mark Guss. And of course, you know, Sovis is who puts on That's Voiceover, one of our industry's best convention, and the Sovis Awards. So it's going to be fun. And this is their, as you can see on the screen here, this is how they are advertising it. And you can go to their website, which is, you can see it down there at the bottom, sovis.org /RSVP. You do have to sign up. It's a Zoom thing. You do have to sign up if you'd like to be a part of it. It's absolutely free. And they would like for you to send in your questions. And when you send in your question, if you are deemed to have the best question, you will receive a Chaotica eyeball. And for those who don't know, it's a big round ball of foam that your microphone fits in, and it's got a big opening that you talk into and your mic. And it does a wonderful job of eliminating sound bounce in a room. Now, it's not going to keep the noises out. But say you're in a hotel room that's bouncing sound off the windows and doors, or in your house bouncing sound off the windows and doors, that Chaotica eyeball does a wonderful job. And once again, if you are the first person or the best question, judge the best question, you will receive one of those. Okay, well, let's lose that graphic. And I want to talk about a number of things today. How to eat the elephant. I mentioned that in the promo for today, and I use that term a lot, how to eat the elephant. And the elephant, of course, is the voiceover career. How do you get a voiceover career started? How do you keep a voiceover career going? And the reason I bring this up, a number of students of mine aren't as interested in getting down to reading some copy and being critiqued. Oh, we do plenty of that. But sometimes it's just, hey, Dave, can we talk for an hour about how do I attack this thing? How do I eat the elephant? How do I get my career going? There's so much to do. And there is. But you have to not be intimidated by it or get over being intimidated by it. By the way, if you're somebody who has a voiceover career right now, and I know a lot of you are there, share with us some of the things you did in your career that helped you become successful. I'll tell you what else. You can also share some of the things that may have sidelined you for a bit, or that you had to get over, that you finally got over. Because we're all going through the same thing. And one of the best things I like about this voiceover community is the community, because people are here to help one another. Okay, so how to eat this elephant? Well, number one, get some training. Get some training. And I say that not to say, oh, come to Dave Fennoy and get training. Sure, you can do that. But there are lots of other good people out there in every aspect of voiceover. Uh, but you want to be careful about who you start giving your money to learn how to do this wacky business of voiceover. You want somebody that's been around for long enough that they know where some of the bodies are buried, uh, that they have a reputation for honesty, quality, and are recognized by the voiceover community. Which gets to my point number two. Get into the voiceover community. Uh, this can be a very lonely gig, a very, very lonely gig. Most of us are at home in our home studios now. There's a huge population of voiceover people who are not in the union, do not have agents, um, are trying to find their way almost in the dark because we're in anywhere. I'm in LA. This is where the business is, along with New York, Chicago, San Francisco, Atlanta. But New York, Chicago, LA have been the hubs. Now we all have home studios. It's made the business more accessible. You can get into the business now from anywhere. That's also a question I get a lot. No, you don't have to move to LA, New York, Chicago, Dallas. From wherever you are, you can do this. But get into the community. There are a number of communities on Facebook. By the way, somebody mentioned to me, a student, that there's a community out there that is asking you to pay money every month. That is not the community you want to be a part of. No, that's not the way we do this. So get into the community. Ask questions. If you're somebody in the community and you're doing this already, be one of those people that responds to questions. And I've noticed from time to time, one of the things I like about this business, some people aren't practicing, which is being helpful and cordial. It's always the wrong place on Facebook in voiceover groups to say, oh, this voiceover guy sucks. Oh, the voiceover on that spot sucks. That person got hired for a reason. You may not understand why. You may be a little bitter that it wasn't you. Lord knows we all audition for things, and a couple weeks later we hear them on air and we go, wow, that's who they hired? Gosh, I thought I gave them what they wanted. I didn't know they wanted diametrically opposed what they were asking for. But that person was hired for a reason. So you're going, oh, they suck, they're not good. Doesn't do you any good, doesn't do them any good, makes you look bad within the community, and that stuff stays there forever. And once you are in the community and you're getting some training, that's when you really start thinking about getting some equipment. And don't just jump into the most expensive equipment that is out there. Sure, everybody would love a U87, but a U87 isn't going to work for every studio. Much better choices are to get a good microphone that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. What if you do this for a couple of years, doesn't work out, and now you got to get out of the business? Well, you could sell the U87, but maybe you've spent too much money on it. Maybe that's one of the reasons you don't have a little bit of money to spend on some other things. I would suggest the Rode NT1, and there's several other companies that make great microphones for under $400. If you're looking for that interface, which you have to have, there are a number of good ones out there. UA Apollo has become pretty standard. My interface is a UA Apollo Quad, but the UA Apollo series are fairly expensive as they go. So my suggestion would be try the Focusrite SI or the Focusrite 2i2. For the money, which I think is about $150, $160, it's a great little preamp. And start with that. Now, of course, you're going to have to get a room that sounds good. That may be, equipment-wise, one of the most important things. Um, but don't go out and spend $9,000 on studio bricks or a whisper room. If you have that kind of money to spend, better to get a used one. Not sure you'll find a used studio bricks, but you'll definitely find used vocal booths and used whisper rooms out there. Um, but you can use a closet with clothes in it. You can use a spare closet that you treat. You can use the corner of a room with a microphone pointing out of the corner towards you and treating the walls in the corner and perhaps the ceiling. By the way, is it me? Am I not? I'm not seeing any comments here. I'm seeing lots of love and thumbs up, but no questions. Come on now, and more importantly, those of you who have been doing this business for a long time, the things that you've done right, the things that worked for you, and the mistakes you made that we could talk about that perhaps could help somebody avoid. So once you've got the right equipment, you've got your room right, and your training, now it's probably time for a demo. Most people start their demos with commercial, and I think there's a lot of truth, a lot of validity in still doing that. However, there's a lot of work in narration. One of the biggest open doors is audiobooks now. And yes, you've heard me say I've done 3 audiobooks and I hope to never do a 4th. Nevertheless, I'm on quite a few audiobooks, playing various characters on those audiobooks. Oh, there we go. Now I found it. Oh, yeah, there you are. You are there. I just said push some wrong button. Hamadi, how you doing? Sean Burton, it's going great. Victor Singleton, good to see you. Veronica Dillard, how are you? Nikki Mo, what's going on? Todd Weekly, good to see you, man. Good evening. Tia Beverly, hi. And Nikki Mo's responding with great. I love their webinars talking about SOVAs, the state of voiceover. John Simmons, I hope you're doing well. Yes, I am. Tanisha Graham, I found a tribe of like-minded VO folks and an accountability buddy. Oh, accountability buddy. I got it. And you know what? That's a great idea. Sometimes we decide to make plans, and if we haven't told anybody and we're just keeping it to ourselves, maybe we don't have the determination, the perseverance to do it. But when you've got somebody that you told by this date, I'm going to have done this, and they keep, so how's it going? Yep. Helps you keep motivated. Let's see. What does Tia Beverly have to say? Well, wow, she looks very young. Just starting out and getting into the VO industry, working on trying to find my niche. I think I may be able to do well with animation and character work and working on getting more coaching with that. So I will definitely be reaching out to you soon. Well, that's good to know, Tia, and wishing you all the success. What's Veronica got to say here? Boy, that's a big one. Hold on, I gotta move this out of the way. I went to Actors Studio Chicago on Hubbard Street, downtown Chicago for VO classes. I tune into Dave Fennoy. I went to That's VO in NYC and LA 3 times. I did a demo reel at Foxhole in Chicago. I upgraded my equipment and got help from my radio personality friends for mic specials. Yes, join all the Facebook groups. Don't pay money, right, Dave? Absolutely, don't pay money for that. Oops, let's see, that lasted more than 30 seconds. And, I got to move it up here. I volunteered and read the news for the blind at Chicago Lighthouse Recording for the Blind. You know what? That has been a standard recording for the blind. Great way to keep your reading chops up and do a good service. And Veronica, I have seen you over the last couple of years do very well. Proud of you. There's, I mentioned the Rode NT1. There's Heather Lynn Watt. I love my Rode NT1. What's Todd Weekly got to say? I have a Rode NT1 myself. Very nice mic. Not so many weeks ago, it's a couple months ago, I was in a studio that's been around in LA since I got here, since before I got here in 1990. And I went in, and waiting for me there in the booth was a Rode NT1. Uh, I had never seen that before. Seen plenty AKGs. I've seen uh, lots of Neumanns and Sennheisers. Had never seen a Rode NT1, and I don't have one myself, but I have to say, it sounded great. So good choice. And oh, Theodore, how you doing? Focusrite Scarlett Solo is great as well. Well, we're getting the cosign from some people. Some other suggestions. I have an Audio Technica AT2035 and use. There you go. There you go. And Audio Technica makes some great, not so expensive mics. Let's see. And Veronica Diller. I trained with Dave Fennoy and Donovan Cornitz. I follow them and other top VO artists, and another place to find some mics are the pawn shops. If it's good mics, I happen to find a new Audio Technica 2020. Sometimes people are, whoa, how did that happen? What did that, let's get rid of that. Sometimes people are a little nervous about buying used mics, and I can understand. But typically, the used mic market is fairly safe. My Neumann TLM 103, I bought used. They sell for about $1,500 new. I bought mine, well, this is a lot of years ago, for about $750. And I think those deals are still available if you want to step up that early in your career. Now, where was I? We were talking about getting the right equipment, and we've gotten some comments on that, and getting the right demo. You want the right demo because it's going to do two things for you. Well, it's going to do a few things for you. It'll help you get an agent. It will show prospective clients what you can do. And it basically is your card. It's your business card when you drive people to your website, which brings up the next thing. You need to have a website. Now, when I got in the business, website, schmebsite. We didn't need anything like that. Now, if you don't have a website, you do not exist. Fortunately, these days, website development is not as expensive as it once was. There are some website developers that specialize in only websites for voiceover people. That's not who does my website. I have an assistant who does mine. And keeps me up to date because I can't keep up with doing everything I need to do on my website. So you have alternatives, and if you're one of those people who happens to be handy with a computer, maybe you can put together your own website. With the caveat that I'm a little skeptical of sometimes doing your own promotion work. Just like I would never want to do my own demo, despite the fact that I have the skills to do it. I'm me, and I'm listening to me, and it's hard to be objective about me. Sometimes somebody else hears something, sees something, knows something that I don't know about me. My perspective of me is from inside my head. That person that's producing your demo, their perspective is wider than yours. It's almost always a mistake to do your own demo, especially when you don't exactly know what the demo really is. Some people will say, well, I've got a good voice. I'll just put some commercials together. I've got a buddy that works at a radio station. We can throw some music underneath it, and it'll be fine. No, it won't be. It'll probably be too long, or the wrong copy, or the wrong mix. You don't know how to sweeten your voice. What you sound like on a radio from one of the microphones there is not what you're going to sound like on a great condenser mic in a really good studio, and sweetened correctly and mixed for radio and television. When I say radio and television, I'm talking about the commercials, not the DJ. And all too often, that person in a radio station, their mix is not going to be the advertiser's mix. All right. So A website. And what is your website to do? It is to advertise you. It is to let the person that lands at your website get a feel of who you are. And right there on the first page, they ought to be able to hear your demos and get in touch with you. Anything else after that, they can click or scroll. But the first thing you want them to be able to do, get your name, get your demos, get a way to get in touch with you. After that, you might want to have your rate sheet. And the reason I mention rate sheet is because if, as an artist, I know myself, I feel like I'm an artist. We want to do the work. We just want to voice stuff. We just want to be in that video game, in that cartoon, doing that commercial, doing that narration, whatever it is. And we want to do it because we love it. And don't tell everybody I said this, but this is the kind of work we would do for free if money wasn't a thing. But money is a thing. And we want to not only be fair to the person that we are providing services for, but we really need to be fair to ourselves. And if we are a breadwinner of any kind, and that is men and women these days, we have to be fair to our families. We have houses to support, food to get, schools to pay for, clothes for family and kids. So you want to be fair to yourself, and it's much easier to point to your rate sheet than to go, well, I kind of sort of would. Let them make the decision that that's enough or not enough. You're likely to play yourself cheap. It's easy to do. I see people do it all the time. Where do you find a rate sheet? Well, the Global Voiceover Academy has one, GVAA, or you can go to SAG-AFTRA and look at their rate sheet. You don't necessarily have to match it, but you should base your rates on that. And if you match it, hey, not too bad. Let's see here. Who else have we got here? Oh, Tyler Berman. Hi, Dave. You're an inspiration. Thank you. I was wondering your take on diversity, inclusion in the voiceover world, and the best advice to get an agent while being on the spectrum. Well, you're taking me right into my next thing, which is get clients. And we'll talk about agents first. We'll come back to that. And I did catch that you said you're on the spectrum. And for those who don't know, if you're talking about on the spectrum, we're talking autism and so forth. And for those of you who don't really know, we have a lot of people out there that are a little bit different. Doesn't mean anything other than they're different. How they communicate may be a little bit different. How they hear things may be a little bit different. A lot of them are geniuses. I know a lot of people on the spectrum. I know especially from being in cartoons and lots of video games, going to conventions, a lot of the people I meet, a lot of my fans are on the spectrum. I have a sister who's a doctor. I used to tease her that, you're doing the important work. I'm just having fun. But I realized after meeting a lot of fans, not just my own, but meeting fans of other voiceover actors and actors in general, who are on the spectrum, whose lives have been touched by the work we do, that we feel like we're having fun, and perhaps it's not that important, but guess what? It's more important than you think. But enough on that. Getting an agent. It's one of the tougher nuts to crack more often than not. I'm going to suggest one that you make sure your demo is superlative. Your demo has to be wonderful. Your demo has to be better than mine. My demo doesn't have to be that great. I haven't updated, especially my video game demo, in a while because I'm working all the time. But when you're starting out or you're trying to hit that next plateau, your demo has to say more about you than mine has to say about me. So you want to make sure you get with a great demo producer for whatever the genre that you're working in. uh, that it is modern. And what I mean by modern is whatever time you're doing this demo in, whether it was last year, it needed to fit last year. If it's going to be next year, it needs to fit next year. The world changes, styles change, music changes. A demo that you did 5, 6 years ago, especially commercial demo, probably needs to be updated. Think about having a demo where you would, if you were selling DVDs, nothing mentioning the internet or Amazon or the products that we have now, the apps that are being sold, the digital plans for telephones and so forth. If your demo is not living in today, living in the past, whether someone recognizes that that's what it is, it's not going to sound right. It's not going to sound right to them. It's going to be dated, which probably means the music's going to be dated too. So you want to make sure, especially with your commercial demo, that you are updating that demo. If you could do it every year, great. If not, every couple years. And once again, it's more important to you who are starting your careers or just really getting some traction in your career to keep those demos more up to date than somebody like myself who's been doing this for 30 years. And more often than not, I'm booking from auditions and reputation. Okay. Veronica, again, after I got my demo, I sent it to several agencies in Chicago and Milwaukee and was signed. Yay! And you know what that tells me is your demo was good. Also, getting a demo, especially if you're looking in the biggest markets, is the long game. Meaning that don't expect to send your demo in on Monday and have somebody call you back by Friday. Maybe Friday 6 or 8 weeks from now. So if you send your demo in, be sure to make a note to yourself, maybe put it on your calendar. I sent this demo on such and such a date, and if I haven't heard anything back by this date, I'm going to get in touch with them again. And I'd send the demo again. And with a courteous little note that says, hey, I sent my demo in such and such a time. I know how busy you are. In case it's been misplaced or something, here it is again. And by the way, here's some of the things I've been doing. Whether you're taking classes with somebody, let them know. You book something at some point, let them know. And what happens is, if you hit that person every few weeks for a few months, maybe a year, after a while, they're kind of on your side. They don't even realize they're getting on your side. And now one comes in and they listen. And if they like the demo, if you're good, if you've got talent, if your demo is right, they listen to that demo and maybe there's room on their roster for you now. Maybe it's a period of time where it's a little bit quiet and they're looking for new talent. Maybe by that time you've had a chance to meet some other people in this business who are willing to send your demo or co-sign, write a note, or allow you to use their name that say, hey, that you should use. I have done this for people from time to time, not often, but from time to time. Hey, this is a friend of mine, great demo. You should give him or her a try, or at least a listen. Does it mean all those people got signed? No. Some of them did, some of them didn't. But it never hurts to have somebody co-sign or send in something for you. Yes, Tyler, because of diversity inclusion. Because there's diversity inclusion in screen acting and behind the camera, but I don't see that with voiceover acting. Sadly, I'm very interested in getting into voiceover for animation, cartoons, and games. I'm going to disagree with you. I think there's a lot of, especially now, diversity in casting. I see very often now, if you're an Asian actor, they're looking for an Asian, or Asian part, you're looking for an Asian actor. Latin part, a Latin actor. Black part, black actor. And I have seen also, if it's a gay part, looking for somebody gay. So the industry is trying to make amends for past wrongs, and that includes people on the spectrum as well. There's a story, I do not remember the young man's name. He'd been taking some voiceover lessons, and one of the things, he wanted to be on My Little Pony. And he took some voiceover lessons. He was very committed to what he was doing. He got very good. And he wrote letters to the producers of My Little Pony. When I say letters, I'm talking about email. He wrote emails to them over the course of several months. And guess what? His story got him an audition, and his audition got him the job. Now he's on My Little Pony. So although I think sometimes it's going to feel harder, I think there's still people out there that don't understand people who are on the spectrum. Keep knocking on the doors. Keep knocking on the doors. They will open. There are more of us out here that are looking for a wider variety of people to represent. When I say more of us, I don't care who you are, what you are. You decent person, cool by me. And I think there are actually more of us like that than not. Just keep knocking on those doors. Let's see, Tim Bomba. Acting classes for me worked great. I get that question a lot. Should I take acting classes? But I want to do voiceover. Oh, guess what? It's voice acting. And I know with teaching, especially voice acting for video games, all those acting things that somebody on camera or on stage does, the movement, the facial expressions, all that we have to do. And even though I said video games and animation, it's with commercials as well. You've got to be the character saying these words. It's not about the words. It's really not about the words. They got to be said. But what you're really sharing are the thoughts and ideas of whoever this character that is talking, even if it's you. And you're taking somebody else's words and making them your own. All right, let's take another one here. Whoa. LC Boros, FYI, Jim Egger is doing a series of posts on his mailing list, choosing a microphone. The mailing list posts are posted on his blog. A week later, just ask jim.studio.articles for posts. Now, didn't read that beforehand. I saw it was a little long, so I would take it. Thank you, LC. Because this is exactly the kind of thing that's so great about the voiceover community. So if you note that Elsie Boros, you can all see that post she has, and you can check out microphones. I'm going to say that with a caveat of there are a lot of great microphones out there. Better to stick with the industry choices than make a wrong choice. But that doesn't mean that you can't make a choice that's a little different than what is usual. SC, some of the brands I like, SE makes some great mics. AKG makes some great mics. Blue makes some great mics. Just don't go with the blue, what is it, little round, the Snowball or the Yeti. Those are really designed not so much for voiceover as if you're going to be doing some gaming or some podcasting or something like that. But once you get up $300 or $400 with the blue mics, now you're getting into some great mics. And I'm leaving out a bunch of other companies that are great. But the simplest thing to do is go with what's tried and true. That Rode NT1, I don't have one, haven't used one except in a studio that I was telling you about, but people love that mic. So if that's probably a very good choice for your first mic. What are the industry standards other than that? Well, if you're in studios here in Los Angeles, the Sennheiser 416, which you can get every day for about $900. The U87, but I wouldn't suggest a U87 unless you have a big room with high ceilings. It doesn't like small rooms. It doesn't like booths. However, the TLM 103 has the same diaphragm, and it plays well with small booths and rooms, and is just a great mic, and doesn't cost as much. All right, Todd Weekly, another good thing to do between gigs. Make your own stuff. Read poems, short stories, play with characters. Yay, absolutely, Todd. One of the things that I've started doing a little bit from time to, I haven't memorized them yet, but doing tongue twisters. One of the biggest problems we have in voiceover is enunciating enough without over-enunciating. One of the things that will kill you, one of the things that will have people pointing at you and saying, "Reedy, read," is over-enunciation. When we speak to people, when we are just being ourselves, we glide over the words. Especially in character work, you want to glide over the words. You don't want to be trying to say the words like this because nobody is going to believe you when you're saying the words like this. And often when you are reading something, you are reading word to word to word to word. And what you want to be doing is gliding over the words and reading the phrases. And all too often, when you are trying to take somebody else's words and make them your own, you're seeing those individual words and you feel like, oh, it says our such and such. So instead of saying our such and such, you say our such and such. And now our is jumping out, and somehow it's changed the rhythm, and it just doesn't quite sound right. And that person that's listening later on, they may like a lot of the read, but something doesn't feel right to them. If you're hitting word to word to word to word, something's not going to feel right to them. So one of the things I do from time to time is do some tongue twisters. It helps you learn how to enunciate clearly without over-enunciating. All right. Let's see. Let's get another comment here. Tanisha Graham. I have a full-time remote day job in addition to my VO career, and I've been able to train, record demos, and book with the right combination of planning out my days. Plus, my employer is also now one of my clients. Well, how about that? How about that? There's no necessarily easy way to fit this into your life. Myself, I was very fortunate. I was on the radio when I decided to step into voiceover. I made up my mind, as soon as I'm making as much money in voiceover as I am on the radio, I'm going to switch over to voiceover. Well, that didn't happen. The radio station fired all the jocks, including me. Fortunately, I had an invitation to move to Los Angeles from the Bay Area to do voiceover. So I was given an opportunity to have an agent. At the time, I didn't realize what a wonderful opportunity it was. So I just moved down, had an agent, and began working pretty quickly. Not everybody gets to do that. Sometimes you have to figure it out. And once again, I'm going to cycle back to join the voiceover community. Why? Because the other people in your life may not understand what it is you're doing. They may think, oh, this is easy. You're just talking. All you're doing, you just have to read that. Well, I don't understand why it's a problem. This can be a very lonely business. The truth of the matter is you are going to audition for many, many, many more projects than you're going to book. And it can be very easy to let the psychology of not booking, of feeling rejected over and over and over again weigh you down, but don't. It's the nature of the business. If you're booking 1 in 20, you're killing it. So get more auditions. The more you audition, the more you're going to book. Okay. Theodore Mezzacapo. Dave, what are your key financial points someone should know in order to succeed in the business? Realize that you are working a business that doesn't give you a salary. So you have to learn to budget. You have to learn to save your money. Um, I remember early in my career when, well, still you have ups and downs. I have ups and downs from week to week. Now, it's fairly consistent in terms of how much I make on a yearly basis. But early in my career, I would be making a lot of money and then something would go away and I wouldn't. And if I hadn't saved some money, I would have been in trouble. And I've seen this happen to people. As a matter of fact, it did happen to me when the economy crashed in 2008. When the economy crashed, I had overextended myself. My two biggest clients went out of business. My salary got cut in half, and I had refinanced my house and pay for kids' college and things like that. And wow, I had to sell my house. Made no money. Had to move into a condo for a couple of years. I bounced back. But had I saved a little more money, had I not sent my kid to school, no, that's not true. But these things happen. These things happen. So one of the things I would say is don't overextend yourself. When you're getting started, do not buy that most expensive preamp, that most expensive mic, that most expensive booth. Let your business pay for those things as you go along. You have to think of this as a business. And I know that's hard for some people because it's hard for me. I don't think of myself as a business person. I think of myself as an artist. But as an artist, I've got to take care of myself. I've got to look out. Nobody else is looking out for me but me financially. So I would say save your money. Don't spend everything that's coming in. Remember when you first got your first job? Oh, wow, look at this check. I got all this. Wait, where all of those taxes go? Anyway, I've got this. And you spent that money and then, oh, that's right. I had to pay rent. Gosh, save your money. Save your money. All right, Mr. J. Horace Black. Okay. Hi, Dave. Yes, I would say the biggest lesson, which I'm glad that I did, was to spend more on training before investing in higher price point equipment. My first mic was a less than $100 mic Behringer B1, the Behringer mixer board, which was under $80. Then once I started booking more work, then I got a Sennheiser 416 and sound devices, USB Pre 2. Then after more gigs, got a UA Apollo Duo Twin. Now I still, and of course, it only gives me 30 seconds, damn it. Let's see, we're going to move it up there so I can see it. Now I still train ongoing, do monthly workouts as well, and take singing voice lessons. I recommend any newbies to train, and continue training. Now, I haven't been able to take any workshops for a while, but I don't know, 3-4 years ago now, maybe I took a TV promo class with Dave Walsh. A bunch of people were really surprised to see me walk in the room. But from time to time, I don't care who you are, how long you've been doing this, you need somebody else's ears and wisdom to help you break out of some bad habits or point out some things that you may be doing that you could change or freshen up your read. So even if you've been in this business for 20 years, don't be so big-headed or don't let your ego keep you from continuing to try to improve. Okay, Stephen Diaz, from audio equipment to guitars, I found it's more comfortable to buy more expensive gear used than cheaper gear. The kind of person to buy expensive gear is either a professional and takes care of the gear or at least fear breaking something expensive. Well, you know what? I'm going to say there's some truth to that. If you have a little more money to spend than for entry-level gear, you might want to think about more expensive gear that is used. Because, as he says, that person typically takes better care of those microphones, of those interfaces, of that equipment. So not a bad choice. And like I said, I've done the same thing. My first 416 was used. I bought it at Coast Recorders in Los Angeles. Coast Recorders is gone the way of the dinosaur now. And I think I paid $700-800 for it. And I still have that microphone. I have another 416 as well. And actually, I'm not sure which one I have hanging now because they both look the same. But I am not opposed to used mics. Veronica Dillard, hi, yes, I do have a home studio, but not sure the best way to go about getting work. Plus, I do need a demo first. Okay. Your demo is your calling card. Going back to that, you need to figure out what it is you want to do. Most people, it's commercial. For a number of other people, narration may be the open door for them. But there are people now who the thing that they want to do most is animation and or video games, and so they make an animation and or video game demo first. The rules are not hard and fast, but you must have a demo to get in the game. And once again, what you do with that demo after the fact, and you have your website to drive them to with your demo, is to start sending that demo to agents, hoping to get an agent, and prospective clients. We're living very much in a do-it-yourself world now. So LinkedIn is your friend. Mandy.com is your friend. Google searches in general are your friend. If you go to LinkedIn.com and it's narration that you want to do, find the producers and developers of narrative products, whether it's narrations for museum or corporate narration or e-learning narration. Find the narration producers, easy for me to say, and get in touch with them. Send them your narration demo. Send them a note. And once again, expect for it to take about 5 touches before something good happens. That's what any good salesman will say. You are developing a relationship with them. Once again, never ask for work. Offer your services. What you're going to do is be a help, a guide to someone who needs your services. And you become the voiceover expert. All right. LC again. And often when you hear your own demos, the first or second time, you may not like them. But if you choose the right person to craft it, give it a month and you'll probably end up loving it. And the opposite happens too. Your first demo, I promise, you're going to love it at first. You'll love it for 6 months, maybe a year, and then you're going to begin to hate it, especially if you start working a lot. It's one thing to take classes and learn. It's another thing once you've been doing this on a regular basis, day in and day out. You learn so much on the job that nobody can teach you just because of the hours you have spent doing this. That a year after you've done that first demo, you'll be so much better. You'll be ready to make another demo. And if you're working a lot, you won't have to produce another demo. You can do your demo from the work you're doing. Ta-da! All right. Veronica, absolutely, you need to need a banging demo. Then get agents like Dave was saying, website, and also reach out to different companies, small businesses to promote yourself. Yeah, if you are reaching out to a business through LinkedIn that you found that maybe they thought about advertising, but they haven't yet. And now, boom, you show up. Well, what do you know? Hey, you sound perfect. You'd be perfect for my company. And guess what? Start looking for companies that match up the kinds of things that you're interested in. If you're a woman that's interested in fashion, maybe there's some fashion companies. If you're a person interested in insert whatever it is here, look for those companies because you have a specific interest. I was reading something from my buddy Trey Mosley. He got his gig announcing for the Raiders because he's a Raiders fan. And he wrote to them and said, hey, I'm a Raiders fan and I do voiceover work. And it wasn't the first thing they did was to hire him, but after a few emails, they did. Keep knocking on those doors. Keep looking. Let's see, Tia Beverly again. Oh, I love that little kid, so cute. Nikki Mo, NP. I understand it's sacrifice to have to do now, and it won't be this way forever. I love this, and is what I wanted my career to be. So I want to have it. I have to do now to get where I want to be. That's true. I'm gonna tell you a little story about me and voiceover. Uh, I had a buddy in high school, and John Kafka. Yeah, he was one of two twin brothers, John and Tom Kafka. And I hadn't seen John or Tom Kafka in 20 years. When I got in touch with him, discovered he was the cartoon director for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He was the guy that was in charge of the people drawing the cartoons. And I'd, hey, I'm up here being a DJ, but I'm getting into voiceover work, and wow, any way you could help me get in the door? And they said, well, put together a demo and come on down. Well, I put together a demo in the radio station, and I did all the things I'm telling you not to do. But I kept it just about the right length of time, and I played all the characters on it. But I was pretty good at production in the studio then, slicing tape and whatnot. And sent it to him, and he called me up and said, well, you know what, I'm glad it was good, because I only told you that because we go back so far. But I'll see that you get some auditions. He shared it with some people at some cartoon companies, and I got 3 auditions while I was still living in Northern California. And guess what? I drove the 5.5, 6 hours down to each of those auditions, spent the 5 minutes doing the audition, and then drove my butt back home. How many of them did I book? Not one. But I was happy because I was in the game. When I finally got an agent, I would drive from the Bay Area down to LA on a Sunday night or Monday morning. I stayed with one of the Kafka brothers for a month. I stayed with an aunt and uncle of mine for a month. Then I rented an apartment with another guy doing the same thing for several months. But I would drive back and forth every week. You're going to have to do something outside of what you're doing now to get a different result than what you're getting now. I don't know what that is, but it's going to be presented to you. Somebody's going to say, hey, I have this opportunity for you. It may not come as a person saying this. Something is going to come up that may seem kind of crazy. But if you really want to do this, you're going to have to do something different than what you're doing now, if you're not already doing this. Okay. And Todd Weekly, we had talked about this, setting up some rates for yourself. VoiceOver Resource Guide also has rate sheets listed. And I don't know why I didn't think of the VoiceOver Resource Guide. It's been around. When I came to town, it used to be in all the studios. It was a little narrow booklet with agents, with studios, with people to train with, and it still is that way and lives online. And let's see. I think I said that. Your demo is your business card. And Chuck Duran is one of the best demo producers, Demos That Rock. There are a number of other really good people out there. My friend J. Michael Collins does great demos. Jordan Reynolds does great demos. There are a number of other people that do great demos, and if they're listening, they're probably going to be a little ticked off at me that I didn't mention them. But you want to be careful. You want somebody that has done it, knows how to do it, and perhaps specializes in a few things as opposed to everything. All right, Myron, happy Wednesday. Dave, great show as always. What's the best way if you're not represented to get animation and gaming auditions? Well, if you're not represented, then you have to reach out to the source. So I would go to LinkedIn, and I would look for animation developers and casting directors for cartoons and animation, and send them your demo and drive them to your website where they can hear your demos and know how to get in touch with you on that very first page that they land on. A lot of times, the biggest work, the Disney work, and some of the other big companies doing animation, you're not going to get to them if you're not represented by somebody. But guess what? There's always somebody starting something new. Everybody started somewhere. Every company started somewhere. And if you can get in on the ground floor with somebody who has talent and can use your services, you may have found yourself a lifetime job with somebody. That also leads to other jobs. Let's see. J.E. Burton. Hi, Dave. Got a telephony workshop with Melissa Moats immediately after she appeared on your show last month. Enjoyed it. Thank you for bringing high caliber VO guests to us. Have a question for you coming up. Okay, I guess I'll have to wait and find it. J.C. Boros. Jim is a VO actor and also a techie guy who has sideline helping people sort out their home recording studio. He's also a Voice Tracks alum. Okay. Thank you for that, Elsie Boros. Her previous post gives his information. Now, some of the people that I would send you to for Tim Tippett's, George Whittam, Jason Reynolds, Jordan Reynolds. Why did I say Jason? Yeah, because I'm getting old. I can't remember. Jordan Reynolds. Are some. There are some people on the East Coast that I could name, Uncle Roy out there, and a few other people whose names escape me just at the moment. But there is not a dearth of people. There are plenty of people out there to help you. Okay, somebody had to bring this up. What do you think of pay-to-play sites like Voices.com and Voices123 and Bodalgo? I'm not a fan. I really am not a fan. But they are part of the landscape of voiceover now. They're not going away anytime soon. So for many people, they are the way to have a career. My buddy Mike, J. Michael Collins uses them very well. Bill DeWeese uses them very well. What I don't like about them are you're paying them to send you auditions. And then when you book something through them, you're paying them a commission to get your money. And whatever the client was looking to pay, you may never know, because typically what you're doing is telling them, oh, I will do the job for this month, this much money, and here's my audition. Well, that client may have said, oh, yeah, I've got $10,000 for this person to do these 10 commercials. And you say, oh, I'll do it for $2,000. And you do the audition and they love it. Well, who gets the rest of that money? Who gets that other $8,000? They do. And you don't know about it. And then they also still charge you sometimes 20%. So instead of $2,000, you're getting $1,600. Not a fan, but they are part of the landscape. And the way you have to use them is have the right, say like Google AdWords, in the description of who you are and the kind of voice you are, because that's how clients find you there. They are looking for what are the words that the clients use to look for various types of voice actors. You need to use those same words for them to find you. Once again, part of the landscape. There are people making a success of it. The majority of people on these sites are making nothing. Okay. Oh, damn, he must have heard me talk about him. Trey, Dave, my man, see you in a few weeks. To the desert we go. Vegas, baby. We close on the house tomorrow. Woo! Yay! Now, I remember when I met Trey maybe 8-9 years ago, when he was really just getting started. Now he's got a career going. And a number of people that I have met like that, and some I've coached, some I have not. All I have encouraged. Let's see, Heather Lynn Watt. Most professions require a recommend continuing education. VO shouldn't be an exception. Wise words, Heather. Wise words. J. Horace Black, staying ready is one of the major things I have gathered in my many years as an on-camera and VO actor. My success comes more consistently by 1, having daily routine when I don't have bookings, and 2, having a pre-performance routine that I do before sessions. That's very good advice. Since I work from home, especially since the pandemic, I'm in my studio by 9 o'clock in the morning. Unless, of course, I have clients from a part of the world that need me earlier, like 7 or 8. But I'm in my studio, and I govern my Monday through Friday as this is my job, this is my place of business, and whether I have auditions that day or students that day or work that day or combinations, typically it's combinations of all of the above, this is my work day. If I have an hour in between, I might take an hour to relax a little bit or do something else. Prepare something like what I'm going to talk about on Ask Dave Fennoy Anything on Wednesday, or get in touch with people that I would like to interview on Ask Dave Fennoy Anything, or respond to students about various things that we talked about in our last session. Always something to do, and you want to set up yourself so that you have regular working hours, but then you can relax. Take your weekends off if you can. Often I'm teaching a workshop on a weekend, but I take enough weekends off. Natalie Hitzel, let's see. What was your question here? What is your favorite video game that you've ever worked on so far? In so many ways, it's like asking somebody, who's your favorite kid? You got 5 kids. Which one do you like the best? But I am going to give you an answer. It's Lee Everett from the Walking Dead game because Lee Everett gave me so many gifts. I love so many characters for so many different reasons. But Lee Everett put me on the map in a way that I had not been before. I had been on a lot of video games before that. But the Walking Dead game won 100 Game of the Year awards. I was nominated for Best Performance in a Video Game several times. I won a few of those. And I went from being, that guy, we've heard him on a lot of stuff. Yeah, I like his work. What's his name again? To, Dave Fennoy, BAFTA-nominated Dave Fennoy, winner of the Machinima Award, Dave Fennoy, winner of a few other awards, Dave Fennoy. It's kind of like being an Oscar-nominated actor. Your career and how people look at you has changed. This hour went by really fast. I figured we were about a half an hour in. I'm going to do just a couple more. Janessa A. Morgan, just want to say I have you live projected to my television, and it's pretty awesome. Wow, that is pretty awesome. Hello, everyone. Okay, back to being serious. Tee-hee, 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 tee-hee. Sometimes it's just great to get something like that. My buddy Michael Glover, wow, I just stuck my head in your show tonight and heard just what I wanted to hear and knew. It's a do-it-yourself world now. So true. Excellent. And you know what? I did his demo. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I'm gonna play Michael Glover's demo for you. I meant to play several other demos, and we just got carried away. But I produced this, and before I do that, I'll tell you what my philosophy is on doing demos for people. Once again, I'm only doing video game demos now. My philosophy is I want to find out who you are. What's the thing that's special about you? And bring that to a variety of characters, but your voice is still the hero of your demo, not the production. Yeah, I'm going to have production on there, but the production isn't the hero of your voice. I want people to come away with a sense of who you are. So I'm going to play this. Here's Michael Glover.
I am Solomon, and this is a message from a dead man.
Hear that? That creature we're tracking. Well, that ain't the only thing in this jungle we gotta worry about.
We have completed our analysis of whatever it was that attacked the Stargate. It was eaten by some sort of highly voracious, very dangerous parasite. Parasites, I might add, that we have no idea how to kill.
Counsel, approach the bench. I am not going to tolerate this kind of behavior in my courtroom. I may be half Triceratops, but you're the one about to go extinct. Yeah. You know, the worst thing ever treated in Greenside was a little boy who broke his leg when he fell off his bike. Now that boy's probably dead. And his mother, too.
Oh, Ragnar! I need to find a way out of here. Please, please help me.
I believe I can help you.
Yes. Ragnar!
Why? Come on. It's now or never. We kill every last one of these sons of bitches, or you get to tell St. Peter you died helping Captain Black. And that's a free pass to God's champagne. My first week on the force, got an emergency call over at Sully's on 18th. There was this kid, man, just shooting barflies at random. Then he pointed his gun at me. I put one right between his eyes. Guardian 1. Transferring authorization to trainee Cooper for helmet interface. It's up to you now, Cooper. Take my helmet and interface. It's gonna be for real this time.
Ta-da! Michael Glover, ladies and gentlemen. Woo-hoo! Wait a minute, where is it? There it is. Michael Glover. But you get a sense of who he is. And you get a sense that he has some range. And you're not going to mistake his voice. And I like to think of each and every one of you, each and every one of the people that I'm working with on a demo as a character actor who gives you a certain feel just by their presence, their voice, as opposed to, oh, let's do that voice and this one over here and that one over here. And at the end of it, you go, I don't really have a sense of who that person is. So anyway, if you're interested in doing a video game demo with me, if you're somebody I've been working with for more than 5 sessions, you get a 25% discount. But you can go to davefennoy.com, click on the video game demo button, and if you're interested, you can get in touch. You can listen to other demos. And this, like all Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings on Wednesday, will be showing up at my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And in the meantime and in between time, book something. See ya.